Hunt or Die is being brought to you by
Well, thanks for tuning in with us for another season of Bowhunt or Die. Here we go, Justin, season 4.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're kicking it off already. You know, it's a spring 2013. You know, obviously since the season ended, you know, unfortunately without me filling a tag, of course, you know, guys have been out doing all their postseason scouting. You know, Todd, I know you've been out looking for sheds. Everybody's starting to get their food plots, you know, prepped. A couple guys are out turkey hunting already. Actually, I know we got 3 birds already on the ground. So season 4, you know, looks like it's off to a good start.
Oh, man, it's off to more than a great start. We've got some preference points, hopefully, that we get drawn for Iowa. That's our first goal for Justin and Iowa. You'll actually be able to see us either kill each other or be very successful with each other. So this is going to be an interesting fall for us, spending some time in the woods together. Yeah. Not that we don't spend enough time at each other's desks at our office, but this will be really fun. We've got a new lease that we're going to be working out, hopefully. Be able to put some time into there. We got some great team members that all have got some good stuff lined up. So I tell you what, I know it's early, but I'm going to say season 4 is going to be better than season 3. That's what I'm going to say.
It's going to be hard to do for you anyways. Well, for me, I can only go up. So let's hope that season 4 is definitely the best yet in the history of Bowhunt or Die. But without further ado, I guess let's get started. We're going to join Dan Richardson down in southern Indiana doing some shed hunting, and he has some pretty cool finds. So let's check it out.
Well, it's January 26th. I'm headed out to my first shed hunt of the year. I can't wait to get out. I actually woke up before the sun came up, but I'm going to be hunting on my lease, and it's 800 acres, but there's also surrounding woods around it, and it's well over 1,000. One way to get to know big chunks of ground like that is actually through shed hunting after the season. If you go right after the season, you can still see a lot of the sign the deer were putting out, and you kind of go by what you've seen during the season too. I can't wait to get out there. Looking forward to it. I've got 2 target bucks I'm looking for. One of them's called Hollywood. I got 2 good stealth cam videos of him while I was filming him at the same time, but I just couldn't let an arrow go on him. I couldn't get my shot. Also another buck I call Distraction. He snuck up on me when I was listening to a fawn bleeding over my left shoulder, and by the time I figured out he was already under me, I just couldn't make it happen. But anyway, here we go. Let's go put down some miles and see what happens. Back where I'm at, there's a lot of timber down back here. We had some storms several years ago, and you can find a lot of trails where they're just kind of weaving in and out of it. All right, first one of the year right here. There it lay. What's weird about this, I came back to where I was hunting a buck I call Hollywood. Anyway, I'm standing here looking at the tree, and I look around and there's a shed right here. I thought it was Hollywood, but it's not. Hollywood's G2 was a lot longer than his G3. And that's not him, but that's a nice buck. It looks like a 3-year-old. I haven't picked it up yet. That's a long beam. That's a nice long beam. This looks like a 3-year-old. He's not real fresh. It's not bloody, but he's not that old. Oh yeah. Number 2. Got another one on the ground behind me. I'm right here in this bedding area. This is just a small buck. They're dropping. I'm finding them. Having a good time. Another fresh one. Like I said, he's a little guy, but I'll take it. I'm not believing this. Number 3, and it's actually one of the bucks I was looking for today, the one I call Hollywood. I've got him on film. I've got him on stealth cam. I had him at 32 yards, one 2-inch sapling in the way, and I couldn't shoot. Not a monster. He's a 3.5-year-old, but next year he ought to really start putting on the mass and more tine length. But man, I can't believe it. This is a target buck. I've killed bucks before where I found the sheds and then killed him the next year, but I've never had the encounters, found the sheds, and then killed him after that. But I'm gonna give it my best shot next year, and I've got this buck too I'm after. Here he is. This one here is a little bit fresher. Still got a little bit of blood down there. It's even got a hair sticking out of the broken G3. I'm about 300 yards where I had the encounter with him. But man, what a day. Look at this. 3 different bucks. I want the other half bad. Well, as you can see, I've had a really good day. Not a bad day at all, especially for the size of woods that I'm hunting. So anyway, if you hunt really big areas, get out there, put some boot leather in, get to know those areas. This is the best time of year to do that. Season's over, the foliage is not up, you can really see what's been going on. Get back in the bedding areas, back where the food sources are, get between them, and put down some miles. And maybe you'll get lucky and come home with some nice little puppies. So I think I'll go home, get me something to eat, and I may even get back out this evening.
Dan Richardson every year seems to find some of the greatest sheds. You know what, Justin, I'm going to go on record saying, Dan, you better get your stuff together because I'm tired of just seeing these sheds. I want to see one of these big bucks from Indiana hit the ground. Yeah, well, this is only Dan's going into his 2nd year of filming. Last year didn't shoot a buck on film, but as you guys saw, he had a great encounter, and the cool thing about that was, you know, he had stealth cam video of that buck as he was filming it, trying to get a shot, heat of the rut, just couldn't make it happen. But obviously found one of the deer's sheds. He's off to a great story, so you know, hopefully you can be able to catch up with that deer later this fall. Yeah, and I tell you, it's deer like that make hunting just so much more fun. I mean, when you're able to track a deer from year to year, I mean, for me, that is like the icing on the cake. Well, yeah, it kind of just builds up that story, and then it makes it all the better if and when you can actually harvest that deer. So next up, we're going to join Todd actually out at his property where he's starting to work on food plots already. So let's check it out and see what happens.
2013 season begins now, guys. I'll tell you what, last year at this time we had 3 days where it was 85 degrees. This year it's 16 degrees, it's freezing cold out. I got my brand new stump blind. I'm just gonna take this one spot on my property and I'm gonna begin to take all the habitat around it and make it to where these deer just wanna come to this one spot, and we're gonna be anxiously awaiting the new blind. My son's getting a little bit older, I need to have more options for him, and there's no better place to start than on the ground to get some close whitetail action. Join us as we get this thing set, and through the rest of the year we'll show you how we're going to develop the habitat around it to get the deer in nice and close. Let's go, it's freezing. Well, we got the stand in place. I tell you what, this Nature Blind Company has outdone themselves with this stump blind. This thing is sweet. I cannot wait to get my son in here. I can't wait to get a good hunt. I mean, we're going to be planting good food plots all around here, making sure everything gets established well. These deer over time won't even recognize that this thing is here. We're going to build native grasses behind us so we can use the native grasses to slip right into here. Get situated. We're up here nice and high, believe it or not, up on top of a ridge, so we got good view. I mean, if anything's walking over there, we'll see them walking this line down in this ravine as well. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. We just kind of temporarily put it here for now until it gets warmer out. Once it gets warmer, we're going to come back in here, make sure we got it where we want it, take some measurements for distance, then we're going to figure out exactly how to configure the food plots so we're dialed right in. Okay, here we go, guys. Craig and I are ready to go look for some shed antlers. We got one big buck in mind that we're looking for specifically, and let's see what we find. Craig, you ready? Mm-hmm. Let's go. Here we go. What do you see over there? Antler. First one. Go get it. That's a nice one. Ooh, I know exactly who that buck is too. How many points is he? 5? Nice. Sweet. Nice. When you're a deer hunter, the adventure never ends. You guys ready? These guys are great. We're gonna go ahead and mow around the native grass field that we're gonna burn. Hopefully we find some antlers after the burn. I see the first antler. Here. I think there's an antler up there. See it? Run, 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 get him. I'm gonna beat the two. Nice. That's a big one, dude. Woo. All right, guys, let's go. We got a lot of places to look. We got a ton of work to do. This is actually the field where Tommy and I shot that buck last year. So what I'm gonna show you here, usually I like to keep along my ravine here, clover. I'm actually gonna replant this clover today. We're gonna pull it out. Then we put the brassicas in. Then you can see this green little patch started right here. That was the winter wheat. The benefit of planting that winter wheat next to your turnips is it creates a line. Those deer just love walking that line, and that line is exactly 25 yards from my tree stand. This year, please, no drought. We've lost so many trees. All right, guys, let's go get this burn over with.
All right, what do we say? Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, last year, Tommy and I snuck into that winter hunt. We spooked that one buck by the tree. There's the shed. Yeah, that's him. That was that big funky side, heavy. That is the buck that we're chasing this year. I'll leave it to Tommy. He's my good luck charm. We found the left side. We were looking for the right, and we were just talking about where could the other side be. And sure enough, we looked through the woods here, or I should say Tommy looks through the woods, and bam, there it is. Nice buck. He is going to be a giant this year.
What do you say?
400 dollars.
Ah.
Wow, you know, it's amazing the difference that a year makes. If you guys remember last April, we had temperatures in the 80s already. Right. You know, stuff was getting green actually in March. Here this year, we had snow on the ground a lot later, much colder temperatures. You know, it's really affected the way that guys are doing their food plots. You know, Todd, what are you doing differently now compared to last year?
Yeah, you know, Justin, I mean, I'm going to make some changes this year. Of course, we never know if you're going to have another drought year after year. Of course, you pray and you hope that you don't. Right. A lot of the trees I planted didn't do very well last year, but I am going to make a couple of changes. You know, if you plant a little bit more sorghum, it's a little bit more drought tolerant. It's going to do a little bit better. Some of the hillsides that I'm planting on is not exactly the best farm ground in the world. It's going to take a while for that moisture to really build back up in those areas. But it is time to get clover in the ground. And more importantly, guys, I'll tell you what, you know, our sponsor, Heartland Wildlife Institute's got some great plots. I mean, sometimes you don't have the best soil or you've got shaded areas. They've got all kinds of different seed mixtures. And I don't care if you're trying to plant, you know, a quarter acre, a half of an acre, or you have a whole acre. If you take the time, pick a little spot and put some effort into it, do your soil test, put the proper lime down, do the proper fertilization, you can create a honey hole on no matter what size piece of property you have.
Well, I'm definitely planning on doing that this year. I got actually 3 spots picked out. We're going to start working on actually this weekend. There's no better time to get out and do it before, you know, it gets too hot out during the summertime. So, you know, with that being said, you know, you guys can see the effectiveness of food plots in Todd's videos. I mean, not only did he kill a great buck during the late season, but but they find a bunch of shed antlers. I mean, those food plots just suck in those deer from all those surrounding areas during the wintertime. So if you've got the ability to do it, now's the time to get out and start planting those plots. So next up, we're actually going to join Dean Krieger. He's up in Wisconsin. He's also doing a little shed hunting with some of his kids. So check out this footage. I think you're going to enjoy it.
All right, it's about a week after late season Wisconsin bow season. Late bow season's over with now, and I had been getting some pictures of some bucks that were starting to shed in that last week of bow hunting. So just pulled in on a farm that I hunt, and I've got my daughter Kylie along today, and we're going to take a little walk and see if we can find some sheds and take down one of my lone wolves and get a little bit of that work done too. So hang out with us, and hopefully we can find some bone on the ground. My daughter and I have been walking around for about an hour and a half and hadn't found anything yet. And I was walking here, looked up the trail, and I see something laying on the trail up ahead about 30 yards. So I'm gonna have her come down the trail here and see if she finds it. So it's her first shed hunt ever, so I didn't say anything to her yet. Just let her walk down the trail and see what's at the end of it. So it should be pretty good. I haven't found anything yet, but keep looking. See something? What do you got? Hold it up. You know who that is? Who do you think that is? That's right, that's Bentley. Hold him up. Let me see it. Nice job. All right, it's been a pretty good day. Our first shed hunt of the year in 2013. This is actually Kylie's first time she ever went shed hunting, and we found this right side of a buck that I named Bentley. And I had pictures of this buck this summer, and so I got a little bit of history with him. Hadn't seen them all fall and didn't get any pictures until in December, late December here. I did get them on video one night when I was late season hunting, and it was a nice buck, nice two and a half year old buck. The reason why I named him Bentley is in velvet you could see he had about a 4 or 5 inch tine right here, and it kind of looked like somebody grabbed it and bent it out to the side. It kind of hung out to the side like that, and as I look now you can see that it was probably damaged in velvet, and that's why it was hanging out, so it did look kind of odd. But then he snapped it off, obviously, while he was fighting. Nice buck. It's got a little character. It's got a point coming out the back here, and some more, like a long, I don't even know what to say to it. It's kind of bladed off the back, so with any luck, we'll run into him this fall, and maybe we'll get a chance at him. So, good buck for this area, and it was a good shed hunt. So we had fun, didn't we, Kylie? Yep.
You know, one thing about Dean is he's always bringing his kids out and he's always getting them involved. And I'll tell you what, that's the kind of stuff that makes the impressions on these little guys that last forever. You know what? I know, Justin, your little guy is pretty little right now, but for me, my son's getting to that age where he's really desiring it. He really wants to get out there and do it. I love watching that footage from Dean.
Well, yeah, and getting him out shed hunting this time of year, on a quick walk is great. It's not too hot. Fortunately, it's not too cold out. There's no bugs. I mean, it's really enjoyable for them, and when they can find an antler, it makes it all the better. So next up, we're going to join Steve Flores. He's actually going to show us a little bit of what it's like to hunt out in the mountains out east. Steve's in Virginia. He's kind of bringing a new twist to what we're doing here on Bowhunt or Die. So let's stop in and see what Steve's doing out in Virginia.
Guys, it's February 23rd, 2013. This is our first scouting session of the year. My wife and I are headed to our favorite hunting location. We're going to put up some lone wolf tree stands. We got some hunter safety system lifelines to install. We're just going to look around our favorite area to see to look at signs from last year. That way we can improve our stand sites for this year. The thing about scouting in the mountains is if you wait too long, when everything gets green, then you can't really see anything, and any of the sign that you do see is not really relevant to the time frame that you're hunting. So get the 2013 season of Bowhunter Die kicked off right. So stay tuned. We're almost to our destination. We've got maybe half a mile through the woods, and then we'll be unloading the ATV and heading out. Got our safety harness, got our lone wolf. Let's go check things out. Okay, we made it to my stand location. We're going to switch out the stand that I've got in here right now with a lone wolf. Last year I kind of took the cheap route and put a cheap stand in, and once those cheap stands look good, or the price tag on them may sound good, but once those stands get hung and the conditions get cold, November, perfect time to hunt deer, and like I said, everything gets cold, those cheaper stands will start creaking and cracking at the worst times, and every time you shift your weight in them, they make tons of noise. It scares deer, and it's just not worth the money that you think you're saving. I'm also going to install a dual hunter safety system lifeline. All right, we've got the lone wolf stand hung. We've got a lifeline, a dual lifeline, so me and my cameraman, my wife, most likely can both get in the tree safely. The reason I picked this spot, this is my favorite, absolute favorite spot to hunt. The reason I chose this area is because behind me, this direction, the backside of that ridge is a doe bedding area. And you can see how the mountain comes up. This point actually comes up and splits. When the bucks come cruising through here during the rut looking for does, they usually come up this point and they'll split this point here, and they'll go to the left or right chasing those does that have been through here the night before, the day before, even the morning while I'm there. While I'm actually in the stand, I have does come through. I'll have bucks come through chasing them, looking for them. The neat thing about this, they're normally, if they do spot me or they do happen to look up, normally the sun is behind my back, which blinds the deer, and they really can't tell that I'm there. I've shot 4 Pope and young bucks from this particular stand, so I'm hoping 2013 will be good to me. And this is a prime area as far as what you want to look for when you're hunting in big timber, big areas with a lot of woods, no food plots or anything. You gotta concentrate on the funnels that pinch these deer down into small areas. This is kind of the low point, and what's going on, does are naturally crossing right here, but the bucks are crossing them too. They're cruising around looking for a hot doe. We've got a good rub here, we've got a good scrape down here. So we know there's been some bucks through here. So what I'm going to do is try to look around a little bit more, find a good area that pinches down their movement, and hang another stand, hang another lone wolf. Okay, so we come down this trail, we've got this nice cluster of rubs. This is a I think a pretty nice buck on this. If you come down here and look at this, where he's rubbing in here, and his horns are actually scraping and gouging this other tree on this side. He's tearing this up, and I'm assuming actually that his horns are gouging in this tree here. So, okay, we've gotten down further down the trail now. Got a really nice spot here. 4 trails. This one trail actually turns in, well, it continues on that side, but it actually splits. And there's another trail coming across it laterally or horizontally. So, a spot like this is going to maximize your chances of arrowing a nice buck, or any buck actually, when you've got trails that are starting to cross, that's where you want to hang a stand as opposed to a single trail. If you can find trails that are crisscrossing each other, that's even better. So this is a really, really well used spot. All right, we're done for the day. We've got one stand swapped out. I was actually going to hang a second stand, but run into some complications with some tree steps, and we're going to bring some more back out the next time we come and hang the second lone wolf. For today, that's it. We've got a good jump on 2013 and Bowhunt or Die, so hopefully all the hard work will pay off and we'll get a buck on the ground later this year.
Well, as always, we want to take a couple seconds to thank some of the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week's episode. Dylan Castagneto, Thomas Ash, Travis Wright, Ryan Johnson, and Tom Rooker. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Those are some great trophies. Now remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, all you need to do is log on to bowhunting.com, submit your trophy, and you may be in the next episode. You know, Todd, like I mentioned earlier, I think the neat thing about having Steve on board with doing videos this year is he does bring a little bit of a different perspective to Bowhunt or Die. You know, most of our guys are based here in the Midwest. You know, we're hunting whitetails and, you know, the croplands, you know, corn, soybeans, you know, some wooded ridges and ravines. But, I mean, where Steve's at, he's literally in the middle of the mountains.
Right.
There are no cornfields. There are no bean fields. You know, the miles that he's putting on right now in scouting, trying to find these terrain features to help him hunt these deer, ultimately is going to be what helps him, you know, be successful this fall, which I think is pretty cool. So anybody out east that's watching the show, you're definitely going to want to keep tabs on what Steve's doing. He's an extremely successful bow hunter. It seems to me anyways that he kills good deer almost every year. So, you know, what he's doing is obviously working, so you're probably going to want to pay attention.
Yeah, another tidbit I think is important too is, you know, we're constantly getting feedback from the people who watch our show that they want more tips, they want more information, they want to actually know about what we're doing to be able to shoot some of the bucks that we do. And I'll tell you what, we've got the place for you. It's our website. A lot of you that we meet out in the shows, you know, you're just tuning into our show and you're missing a whole wealth of information that we have right here on our website, bowhunting.com. Steve is actually one of our senior editors. We've got all kinds of information, whether you enjoy hunting Texas or you hunt out east or you're a Midwest fanatic like Justin and I. We've got a ton of information, and if you're not tuning into that, you're definitely missing out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like we said, that's all we got for this week's show. We're going to have another episode coming up in 2 weeks now. As I mentioned earlier, we've already got 3 turkeys on the ground. Yes. Dustin DeCrew, Trevor Olson, and Tyler Rector all shot birds. I know a lot of our guys are out hunting right now, going hunting the next couple of weeks. Todd and myself are actually heading out to North Carolina for a couple days to try to kill some turkeys. So, you know, hopefully it's a good spring. We already got a couple birds on the ground, and Bowhunt or Die Season 4 is hit the ground running. So
there we go.
We hope to see you guys back here in 2 weeks right here on Bowhunt or Die.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook. Well, welcome to another season.
Okay. I thought you were going to say another episode. I was stopping you prematurely. I apologize.
In the ground, I've got most of mine planted. I've also been working on putting a couple trickery.
What do you say?
Bowhunt or Die.
Ah.